You ever wonder what legacy sounds like when it starts its engine? Welcome to the Aviator School Legacy Series, where skill meets purpose and purpose takes.
All right, we're moving on now to Chapter 3, Aircraft Finishes. Aircraft Finishes. There's 15 total questions in this section, and it's going to be divided into 2 even parts. So, once again, 90% to move on. Number 1, 52 inches long. 52 inches. 52 inches. So if registration numbers are to be applied with the letter height of 12 inches, the minimum space required for the registration is going to be 52 inches. 52 inches. 52 inches. 52 inches. All right. Number 2, cure to the finish and be very difficult to remove. Cure to the finish and be very difficult to remove. Cure to the finish and be very difficult to remove. If masking tape is applied to an aircraft, such as for trim spraying, and is left on for several days and it were exposed to heat, it is most likely that the tape will be cured to finish and be very difficult to remove. So don't leave it on. Excuse me. Don't leave it on. Number 3, retarder. 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 What is used to slow the drying time of some finishes and to prevent blushing or blush? You use a retarder. You use a retarder. A retarder is used to slow the drying time of some finishes and it prevents blush. Number 4, wash primer. Wash primer. Wash primer. Which type of coating typically includes phosphoric acid as one of its components at the time of application? It's the wash primer. Wash primer. So the type of coating typically includes phosphoric acid as one of its components at the time of application is the wash primer. Wash primer. Number 5, polyurethane. 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 Which properly applied finish top coat is the most durable and chemical resistant? It's going to be a polyurethane coating. Polyurethane coating. Which properly applied finish top coat is the most durable and chemical resistant? It's a polyurethane coating. Number 6, reflective ultraviolet from the fabric. Reflect ultraviolet from the fabric. Reflect ultraviolet from the fabric. Aluminum pigment in dope is used primarily to reflect ultraviolet from the fabric. Reflect ultraviolet from the fabric. Number 7, remove grease from fabric. Remove grease from fabric. Remove grease from fabric. A correct use for acetone is to remove grease from fabric. Remove grease from fabric. Correct use for acetone is to remove grease from fabric. Number 8, static electricity buildup. Static electricity buildup. Static electricity buildup. Which of the following is a hazard associated with standing on fabric covered surfaces during the finishing process? Well, it's static electricity buildup. Static electricity buildup. Static electricity buildup. Take a quick quiz and I'll see you soon.
Break. This message is for anyone ready to level up. Aviator School, pronounced Aviator School, is now building our next wave of future mechanics and aviation leaders. If you want in, send me a DM right now. I'll walk.
Number 9, corrosion. 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 What is likely to occur if unhydrated wash primer is applied to an unpainted aluminum and then about 30 to 40 minutes later a finished top coat when the humidity is low? Well, you're going to get corrosion. Corrosion. Corrosion is going to occur to an unhydrated wash primer when it is applied to an unpainted aluminum about 30 minutes later after the finished top coats and you have low humidity. You're going to get corrosion. 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 Number 10. First coat to prevent fabric rotting and are applied thin enough to desaturate the fabric. First coat to prevent the fabric rotting are applied thin enough to saturate the fabric. Okay, fungicide dopes are used in aircraft finishes as the first coat to prevent fabric rotting and are applied thin enough to saturate the fabric. Fungicidal dopes are used in aircraft finishes as the first coat to prevent fabric rotting and are applied thin enough to saturate the fabric. First coat to prevent rotting and are applied thin enough to saturate the fabric. Number 11, avoid touching the surface with your bare hands. Avoid touching surface with your bare hands. Before applying a protective coating to any unpainted, clean aluminum, you should always avoid touching the surface with your bare hands. Avoid touching the surface with your bare hands. You have oil secretions and stuff that could actually corrode the metals. So before applying a protective coating to an unpainted clean piece of aluminum, you should always avoid touching the surface with your bare hands. Number 12, a glossy blush-free finish. A glossy blush-free finish. A glossy blush-free finish. What is likely to occur if hydrated wash primer is applied to an unpainted aluminum and then to about 30 to 40 minutes later to a finished top coat when the humidity is low? You're going to get a glossy blush-free finish. The previous question said what happens if it's unhydrated? Then you get a corrosion. If it is hydrated, you get a glossy blush-free finish. Glossy blush-free finish. Number 13, too much material applied in one coat. Too much material applied in one coat. Too much material applied in one coat. So what is the usual cause of runs and sags in aircraft finishes? Well, too much material applied in one coat. Too much material applied in one coat. Number 14, blushing. Blushing. Which defect in aircraft finishes may be caused by adverse humidity, drafts, or sudden changes in temperature? It's gonna blush. Blushing. Blushing is caused by an adverse humidity, drafts, or sudden changes in temperature. Blushing. Blushing. Number 15. Old wash primer coats may be overcoated directly with epoxy finishes. Old wash primer coats may be overcoated directly with epoxy finishes. Old wash primer coats may be overcoated directly with epoxy finishes. So, which statement is true regarding the paint system compatibility? Compatibility. Old wash primer coats may be overcoated directly with epoxy finishes. Old wash primer coats may be overcoated directly with epoxy finishes. All right, take a quick quiz and I'll see you soon.
Thank you for watching. If you liked what you heard, leave a comment. And if you didn't like it, leave a comment. Either way, I want to hear from you. I promise I will answer every comment.